Hello everyone, welcome to the course on network theory. Today we are going to discuss on conversion of one parameter to the other parameter of the two-port networks. Till now we have been studying different parameters, namely Z parameter, Y parameter, ABCD parameter and H parameters. So one question comes into our mind that are these parameters are independent to each other, or these parameters are related to each other. So in real world applications, we are not going to get a network with the parameter network parameters of our required. So we need to have the conversion or interrelationship between one parameter to the other parameters, right? So today we are going to derive some relationship between one parameter to the other parameter. Let us start our lecture by converting the Z parameters in terms of ABCD parameters. So as the title says, we are trying to convert Z parameters in terms of ABCD parameters. So what we need to take? We need to have our ABCD parameters. So how my ABCD parameters looks like? Here input port will be in terms of output port parameter. So my V1 is equal to A V2 minus B I2. I1 is equal to C V2 minus D I2. And what are the Z parameters we have? Z parameters are in this particular form, that is I1 and I2 currents are independent and voltages are dependent. So V1 V2, where V1 is nothing but Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2, whereas V2 equal to Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2. So we require these Z parameters in terms of A, B, C and D. Okay, it means that we are going to convert this particular ABCD parameter equation in terms of Z parameter equation, so that on comparison we are going to get these Z parameters in terms of ABCD. Why we can convert? Because these two equations and these two equations are same, V1 I1, V2 and I2, that is they are going to have two ports, and V1 and I1 is the first port and V2 and I2 are the second port. So they are have interrelations with each other. So let us start converting. So if you in order to start, let us observe the equations which are in our hand, that is the ABCD parameter equations. If you observe the second parameter, we are having, say here, I1 V2 I2. So we are having two currents and one voltage. So if you observe here, we are in ABCD parameters, and we are having in the second equation we are having two current and one voltage here. So if you observe the Z parameters, we are having two currents and one voltage. So we can easily convert the second equation in terms of which in the form of Z parameters. So let us keep this CV2 to the left hand side. CV2 equal to, I am trying to send this particular term towards other side. So it will be I1 plus DI2. But what we have here in the left hand side, we are having only V2. But dividing this equation by C on both sides. So we get V2 is equal to 1 by C I1 plus D by C I2. So now if you compare this equation A with equation 2 here, say this is 1, we can get that my Z21 is equal to 1 by C and Z22 is equal to D by C. Now let us have this particular Z11 and Z12 parameters. So we shall make use of our first equation. If you observe this first equation, we are having two voltage terms and one current term. So here we are having one voltage and two current terms. So we require V1. So we need to eliminate this V2. So in order to do that, let us substitute this equation A in this particular equation. So what we are going to get, it is V1 is equal to A into 1 by C I1 plus D by C I2 minus B I2. Okay, so my V1 is equal to A by C I1 plus AD by C I2 minus B I2. So we have I2 term here. Let us take common. So what we are going to get? We are going to get V1 is equal to A by C I1 plus AD by C minus B I2. So we are having V1 equal to A by C plus AD minus BC divided by C into I2. So this will be my which term? This will be my Z11, and this will be determinant of A matrix, transmission matrix divided by C, which is nothing but Z12. So my Z11 will be equal to A by C and Z12 will be equal to determinant of D matrix divided by C. Okay, so here we got the Z parameters in terms of ABCD parameters. Z11 equal to A by C, Z12 equal to determinant of D matrix, ABCD matrix by C, 1 by C and D by C, which we got here. Now let us see another parameter conversion, that is Y parameters in terms of H parameters. Now we are going to convert from Y parameters in terms of H parameters. So what should we do? We should take first H parameters. What is H? It's the hybrid parameters. So you're going to have one equation V as a dependent variable and other equation I as a dependent variable. So we are going to have V1 and we have I2. So it is V1 equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2 and I2 equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. How my Y parameters looks like? I1 and I2 are dependent, whereas V1 and V2 are independent. So it is Y11 V1 plus Y12 V2 and this is Y21 V1 plus Y22 V2. Now what, let us name this as 1, this as 2 and this as A and this as B equations. So what we are trying to do, we need to have a Y parameters which are in terms of H. So something like Y11 will be having a in terms of H11, H12, H21 and H22 at H parameters. So in order to get that, we need to rewrite these equations 1 and 2 in terms of A and B. So let us convert. So before conversion, let us see what we are going to have here in in Y parameters. So in Y parameters we have one I current term and two voltage term. So if you observe here, in H parameter, that is first equation, we have one current term and two voltages term. So if we try to rearrange this particular equation 1 in terms of equation A, we are going to get y11 and y12. Let us take or rewrite equation 1, that is V1 equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2. So let us keep this I1 to left hand side and voltages terms into right hand side. So we are going to get H11 I1 equal to V1 minus H12 V2. Now we are going to get I1 as 1 by H11 V1 minus H12 by H11 V2. Let us keep this equation 3. Now what shall we do? Here if you try to see third equation and A equation over here, both are similar in similar way, where I1 is dependent and V1 and V2 are independent terms. Okay, so if you compare equation 3 and A, we get my y11 is equal to 1 by h11 and y12 is equal to minus h12 by h11. Once we got this equation, now we shall have derive y21 and y22, for which we shall make use of equation 2. But if you observe equation 2, we have I2, I1 and V2. But what we require? I2, V1 and V2. So instead of I1, we require V1. So how shall we do? We shall eliminate this equation I1 from equation 2 by making use of equation 3. Substitute equation 3 in equation 2, we get I2 is equal to H21 V1 by H11 minus H12 divided by H11 V2 plus H22 V2 here. Now if you try to see my I2, expanding it, you're going to get H21 by H11 V1. We have plus into minus, we are going to minus H21 H into H12 divided by H11 V2. We have here plus H22 V2. What shall we make now here? If you observe, my V2 terms are same, so we shall take common. So my I2 is equal to H21 divided by H11 V1 plus H22 minus H21 H12 divided by H11 V2. So let us write here again, I2 is equal to H21 by H11 V1 plus H11 H22 minus H21 H12 divided by H11 into V2. Now if you compare this equation 4 with equation B, we get my H11 Y21 is equal to H21 divided by H11, and my Y22 is equal to determinant of Y matrix, H matrix divided by H11. So these are my Y21 and Y22 equations or terms, and these are my Y11 and Y12. Okay, so Y11 equal to 1 by H11, Y12 equal to minus H12 by H11, Y21 equal to H21 by H11, and Y22 equal to determinant of H by H11, right? So this is the process of converting Y parameters in terms of H parameters. Now let us see another type of conversion, that is conversion from ABCD parameters in terms of Z. In the first time we have seen the conversion of Z parameters into ABCD. Now we are going to see the conversion of ABCD parameters in terms of H parameters. Now let us start the conversion from ABCD parameters in terms of Z parameters. So in terms of Z parameters, so try to write our Z parameters. First, V1 equal to Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2. V2 is equal to Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2. Let us assume this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Now let us write here ABCD parameters. My ABCD parameter equations are V1 is equal to A V2 minus B I2. I1 is equal to C V2 minus D I2. Now we need to convert these equations in terms of these equations. Let us write this is equation A and this is equation B. Okay, so what I said, first we need to see what are the parameters we have. Here we are having one V1, one voltage and two currents. If you see here, we have one voltage, two voltage and one current. And if you observe this equation, we have two currents and one voltages. So which is matching with our Z parameters. So let us see, we have V2 here. So consider equation 2. Considering equation 2, we get, or we rewrite that we require I1. So Z21 I1 is equal to V2 minus Z22 I2. My I1 is equal to 1 by Z21 V2 minus Z22 divided by Z21 I2. Let us assume this is equation 3. compare equation 3 with P. We get C equal to 1 by Z21 and D is equal to Z22 by Z21. Okay, so this is my Z, so this will be my C term and this will be my D term. Now let us consider equation 1. We get, so what we need to do, we require A and B. In terms of Z parameters, we already got C and D. So if you observe this A equation, we have two voltage terms and one current term. Okay, so if you observe equation 1 here, we are having one voltage and two currents, but we know that we are and if you observe carefully here, we are having V1, V2, I2, and here we are having V1, I1 and I2. So what is the difference? We have I1 instead of V2. So we shall eliminate I1 by substituting equation 3 in equation 1, so that we are going to get terms called V1, V2, I2 and I2. Okay, so let us substitute the equations. So V1 is equal to Z11, I1 is V2 by Z21 minus Z22 divided by Z21 I2 plus Z12 I2. So if you try to again write here, we are going to get V1 is equal to Z11 by Z21 V2 minus Z11 Z22 divided by Z21 plus Z12 I2. So let us rearrange this equation, because we are having I2 terms, two I2 terms. Okay, so my V1 is equal to Z11 by Z21 V2 minus, taking common, we are going to have Z11 Z22 by Z21 minus Z12 I2. So if you try to write, V1 is equal to Z11 by Z21 V2 minus Z11 Z22 minus Z12 Z21 divided by Z21 into I2. So if you assume this as equation 4, comparing equation 4 with A, we get A equal to Z11 by Z21 and B equal to determinant of Z matrix divided by Z21. So this is by comparing with equation A, we get this is A and this will be B. Similarly, here we are compared with that equation. This is C term and this is T parameter. Okay. So this in this way we are going to convert ABCD parameters in terms of Z parameters. So A is Z11 by Z21, Z11 by Z21, B is determinant of Z by Z21, determinant of Z by Z21, this is C equal to 1 by Z21, C equal to 1 by Z21, and finally we got T equal to Z22 by Z21. Okay. Now we shall see another conversion, that is conversion of H parameters in terms of Y parameters. Yes, how do we start? First we need to write Y parameters, that is I1 in terms of V1 and V2. I1 equal to Y11 V1 plus Y12 V2 and I2 is equal to Y21 V1 plus Y22 V2. Let us assume this as equation 1 and this as equation 2. And what are the H parameters we have? Hybrid. So it is V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2 and I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus 22 V2. Let us write this is as equation A and this is equation B. Now we need to convert these two equations in terms of H parameter equations, so that by comparison we are going to have H parameters in terms of Y parameters. So let us observe the equation and let us see which equation to be rewritten first. Okay, so if you observe here, we have in Y parameters one current and two voltage terms. Okay, and if you observe here, we have two voltage terms and one current term, and we are having two current terms and one voltage. So we can convert this one of the equation of 1 and 2 in terms of A. So which we need to take? If you observe here, the current term we have I1. So we need to convert first equation and rewrite in that in terms of A equation. So considering equation A, equation 1, right, and convert it in the form of equation A. We get see here we are having V1, so let us keep here Y11 V1 is equal to I1 minus Y12 V2. V1 is equal to 1 by Y11 I1 minus Y12 by Y11 V2. So let us write this is equation 3. Compare equation 3 and a. We get h11 equal to 1 by y11 and h12 is equal to minus y12 divided by y11. So this is my h11 term and this is my h12 term. What are the two terms left? We need to find, that is h21 and h22. If you observe this equation, we have two current terms and one voltage term. But if you observe this equation 2, we can say that we have one current term and two voltage term. If you compare cleanly, we require I1 term instead of V1. So we need to eliminate this V1 by substituting equation 3. Okay, substitute equation or put this equation 3 in 2. We get I2 is equal to y21 into I1 by y11 minus y12 divided by y11 v2 plus y22 v2. Now try to simplifying this equation. We get I2 is equal to y21 divided by y11 I1 minus y21 y12 by y11 v2 plus y22 v2. Now we have v2 and v2, try to take common. We get I2 equal to y21 by y11 I1 plus y22 minus y12 y21 divided by y11 into v2. So let us rewrite this equation. I2 is equal to y21 by y11 I1 plus y11 y22 minus y12 y21 divided by y11 v2. Let us write this is equation 4. Now compare equation 4 and B. We get h21 is equal to y21 by y11 and h22 is equal to determinant of phi matrix by y11. So this is my h21 and this is my h22. So in this way we convert h parameters in terms of y parameters. With this, we shall stop our lecture for today and we shall continue the same conversion in the next lecture. Thank you.